The Beard's back, and the Nets won yet again in Harden's return. I'm Robin Lundberg here with Ben Pickman. And Ben, after the game, James Harden was asked, whether he was surprised how quickly he was able to get acclimated coming off of that hamstring injury. And he said, not to brag or anything, but I'm really good at this game. And you know what? He's right. I mean, to me, James Harden has been the best player in the NBA when he's been on the floor for the Nets this season. And as long as he's in the lineup, I believe they win the NBA championship. But do you think that Harden has the right to brag right now?
Oh, he absolutely has the right to brag right now. He's been phenomenal as a member of the Brooklyn Nets, and he's really dispelled any notions that he can't fit in alongside Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant and that he can't make his teammates better. You look at James Harden this year, when he's on the court alone, his usage rate around 35%. It's in half of that almost when KD and Kyrie are on the floor. He's cut that in half. You look at some of his other numbers, he's number 2 in the league right now in assist percentage. And while he's touching the basketball more as a member of the Nets than he did last year as a member of the Rockets, he's actually holding on to it for less time per possession. He's moving it to his teammates with one fewer dribble per game. So he's been this incredible facilitator, this incredible playmaker all year round, certainly made his teammates better. And just 9 times this year, he scored 30 or more points as a member of the Brooklyn Nets. But he's, of course, still a lights-out scorer. Now, all that being said, Robin, I still think that when the rubber meets the road in this postseason, it's Kevin Durant who's maybe their most important player and is their ceiling raiser. They're going to need KD to be a star, a true star, if they want to win this NBA championship.
Well, look, when you're choosing between Kevin Durant and James Harden, you're nitpicking to the highest degree, right? And Kevin Durant is amazing. There's never really been anything like him at his height and his ability to score. But to me, James Harden makes everybody else a threat. And that's the difference. He's become the leader of this team, I think. It's sort of become his team because when he shows up, the role players are more involved. And you know what he hasn't gotten enough credit for, I think, is both defensively he's played well and he's really strong on the post, and he's actually their leading rebounder. And a lot of times he's getting the ball and he's igniting the break, he's igniting that offense. So not only will he make things easier for KD, I think he makes things easier for the entire team.
Yeah, I mean, he's done that during the regular season, and you mentioned it. He probably has been their most important player this past regular season. I'll concede that, I think, because he's just been available more than someone like Kevin Durant, say, and he's been better, I would argue, than Kyrie Irving. But I still think in the postseason, KD is the ceiling raiser because of his just unbelievable shot-making ability. You look at it right now, Kevin Durant, even in this regular season, leads the NBA in offensive rating on the Nets, who have the overall best offensive rating in the entire league. So he's been the best offensive player in the league, all things considered, pretty much, despite, of course, the small sample size. And I would expect that to continue into the postseason. And if the Nets want to win a championship, it's going to need to continue. James Harden is going to continue being this playmaker, this incredible facilitator. But at the end of the day, I think we still have to see them mesh together in crunch time and see, who's taking the final shot, who's playmaking down the stretch, and who's making it. And Kevin Durant still is this weapon that literally no one can stop in the entire league.
Yeah, well, look, I'm not even sure I don't want Kyrie Irving taking the final shot sometimes, right? I mean, or it could be a role player taking the final shot. Ultimately, how this gets determined is how well they do work together in tandem and, of course, as a trio. And I think if you ask them, who's the guy or the ceiling raiser or the best player on the team, they say, who cares as long as they get it done. All I'm telling you is that James Harden's been on a different level this season to me.